All right, everybody, we are here with your top 8 Masters match. We have Gavin versus Wolf for top 8. Both of these trainers have been on stream. Gavin has been on stream twice already. Something that's a little bit different, though. I am now joined by Zach, aka Bravarius, here on commentary. How you doing, Zach?
Good, good. Glad to be here.
Yeah, all right. So, again, Wolf is running the Thundurus, Kyogre, Landorus, Ferrothorn, Dialga, and Salamence team, whereas Gavin is running Cresselia, Groudon, Kyogre, Amoonguss, Thundurus, and Salamence. Zach, I know you were saying earlier that you have had a chance to play around with Gavin's team. Do you have any insight to how it's played?
Yeah, he plays a very flowcharty mode of the team. It's very straightforward, very structured. He calls himself a robot when he plays it. I guess it's really done well for him in Best of 1. He topped the PS ladder. He did a few cool things with it. So he's revamped it. It top cut last week within Missouri. Chuppa ended up using it with a Ferrothorn over the Cresselia. And that actually just, I think, won seniors finals. So obviously the team's strong. It's been consistent. I also know Kamal, who's in top 8 right now. He was using the same 6 at one point in the year. I'm not sure if he's using it today, but yeah, it's a pretty solid team, and let's just see how it does here.
Yeah, I mean, we had Kamal on stream earlier. I gotta ask, is Gavin also running the Hidden Power Water on that Salamence?
I'm pretty sure that's not the case, but that's
Okay.
pretty interesting tech.
I had to ask because when Kamal pulled that out of his pocket, during his game with I forget who he was playing, unfortunately. It was just so clutch, and I would have loved to see that here. With the Salamence and Kyogre, set up for HP Water. Unfortunately, that's not the case. We're going to see Wolf actually stick with the same lead he had last time he was on stream, the Thundurus Landorus again, picking up the Intimidate on that Kyogre, on that Salamence, and, Gavin picking up the Intimidate with his Salamence on both of Wolf's Pokemon as well. So it almost seems like they're off to a pretty, on par start.
Seems like pretty on par, but Thundurus has a really big role here. It can paralyze the Salamence. It can deal a good chunk to the Kyogre. It's pretty threatening to both Pokemon. Landorus is somewhat threatening, but the Intimidate, it does neutralize it a bit. From Wolf's perspective, looks like, or from Gavin's perspective, he probably has some damage output with the Kyogre. He probably gets a free turn here if he wants it. I'm pretty sure that Wolf can't KO the Kyogre at this point. But the Salamence is probably looking like not the best thing, so I might see it protect here.
Yeah, if I had to guess, well, I don't have to guess because we're going to see it. Salamence Mega Evolves right away, possibly going straight for an attack. It's not protecting. Thundurus goes for the Thunderbolt into Kyogre, does about half damage. No item revealed on that Thundurus. Double Edge will connect with the Thundurus. Does not do a lot of damage, most likely due to the fact that it is not super effective. He did have the Intimidate. Landorus goes for the U-turn on Kyogre, a strategy that he picks up a crit with that. Actually picks up the KO on Kyogre. I think Wolf got more than he was asking for with that, but he's pretty happy about it. Losing that Kyogre turn 1 is going to be huge for Gavin. He can no longer, set up Rain. He's lost one of his restricted Pokemon, and, Thundurus is pretty much in the clear to start setting up Thunderwave, to start Thunderbolting more. He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, he's in pretty good position now. That Kyogre, like I said, it didn't get KO that turn. That was the key to that turn, and if he gets fires off an attack there, he's in pretty good position. I think he probably the Kyogre would have moved after the Landorus, so it wouldn't have KO'd there. And Wolf had the Ferrothorn in back, but Thundurus probably is going to get KO'd there. So Gavin definitely losing a lot of momentum, and that critical hit was a pretty good amount of damage.
That was insane.
Yeah, there was that was from what, almost half health.
It was like exactly half.
Yeah, that's a. I'm not sure, that might even have been a high damage roll as well. I'm not sure exactly what the calc is on that, but that was a pretty crucial turn for Wolf. I think he probably gained a really good amount of momentum here. I'm not sure. We saw the Landorus in the back, so he brought 3 Pokemon that aren't Mega or Primal or Legends. So let's see what happens here.
He did that too in his last match on stream. I believe he only brought the Kyogre. Salamence protects, does not take the Thunderbolt or the Thunder Wave from that Thundurus. Fire Punch will pick up the KO on it. It's interesting to see if Ferrothorn went for the Leech Seed here. It did. The last match we saw of Wolf, he set up Leech Seed on both of his opponent's Pokemon and just proceeded to stall the game out.
Yeah, Wolf was talking to me last night too about how he said that Leech Seed is super undervalued right now, and I didn't believe him, but I saw it on stream, and yeah, he's really making it work. It does really reflect his play. He's a very defensive player. He likes taking his time. He's notorious for running games to timer, and that's the way he goes. He likes to open up all of his win conditions, and I mean you can see why. He's a guy who he's probably the most successful American player in recent years. Maybe the most revered right now. So when
Definitely.
you keep all your win conditions open like that, that's what happens. But his tendency is to play defensively. So in this case,
Ferrothorn's perfect Pokemon to do that.
Yeah.
And it's always nice to see a player, know their strengths and play to them. I think a lot of times people just pick up teams knowing like, oh, well, this won last weekend. I'm sure I can use it. But, taking that time to tweak something so that it fits your play style can really mean the difference between, breaking even or making cut.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're going to see Gavin send in the Amoonguss. We're going to see Wolf, take out the Ferrothorn just after it got the Leech Seed up. Send in Landorus now. Possibly for that second Intimidate on the Salamence, possibly to maybe earn some health back from the Leech Seed. It's hard to say, not that Landorus has taken any damage yet. Double Edge will connect with the Kyogre, doesn't do any damage. Ice Beam will easily pick up the KO on that Salamence. No questions asked there, and, we're looking at a 4-2 game.
Yeah, that's, again, that early game crit was probably the thing that set this one way off. Right now, Wolf in really good position with the Landorus being able to Earthquake here. I'm not sure if Gavin has an out. The Thundurus being gone doesn't really matter now, considering they could taunt the Amoonguss, but that's not it wasn't a big threat. So Fire Punching the Ferrothorn on the other turn might have made a lot bigger of a difference. But basically, Gavin just has to take out the Kyogre. Wolf probably has to cycle the Landorus back out. Kind of do some switching around. Again, something Wolf is really well known for is defensive play and switching. So Gavin, I guess, trying to see it through here, and he might have a play here. And Wolf, again, withdrawing the Kyogre here.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Wolf, sends in the Ferrothorn here and then goes for the U-turn on Landorus so that it can...
Oh my!
Never mind. Landorus has had enough of this switching around. It gets straight to the point, goes for the Explosion, picking up the KO on Amoonguss, almost picking up the KO on Groudon. I did not see that coming.
And Wolf going out with a bang. Oh my goodness.
Seriously, what a way to end game one. Precipice Blades will connect with Ferrothorn, but with Groudon at 20 HP, missing the KO on Ferrothorn, that's game over.
Well, it's not actually necessarily game over yet.
That's true.
So at this point, Kyogre comes back in, but Precipice Blades does do a good amount to it. If Gavin scores a critical hit here and lands both of his Precipice Blades, this game is his. So
that's very true. You're right. It is nowhere near over yet.
it's very much in Wolf's favor, but I'm pretty sure the damage on the Kyogre, it's not enough to KO with Precipice Blades from here unless that's like a 4 HP Kyogre. Knowing Wolf, that's probably not a 4 HP Kyogre, but if it's not 4 HP Kyogre, you're probably looking at Gavin needing a crit, but hey, take your outs here.
Yeah, oh man, I can just imagine, playing in these kind of situations. Your heart must be like beating out of your chest, just, hoping that you land the attacks, hoping that maybe you somehow pull off a crit. He will land both Precipice Blades on Ferrothorn and on Kyogre, but it is not enough. Unfortunately, Kyogre survives with plenty of HP to spare and will go ahead and Ice Beam the Groudon, ensuring its KO. What a game one.
Yeah.
What a game one.
Looking at this, I think Gavin's probably thinking, wow, I have if that doesn't critical hit at one turn, it's a little bit of a different game. So both players may do some adjusting here, which is kind of odd because usually the player on with the win doesn't end up kind of having to rethink it. But it looked like with that Kyogre surviving, you never know with the momentum, especially in this format, how it swings. But it looked like Gavin would have had a much better chance to win. Wolf played. I brought a really good lead against Gavin, I think. The Explosion of Landorus is probably something he didn't want to have to reveal game one, but being able to seal it up was pretty nice. So I think some positives from his side is he definitely knows he has the tools to be able to beat Gavin, but probably he'll have to approach it a little differently. His early game was very good, and then the critical hit scored enough momentum where you don't know exactly how the middle to late game would have gone.
Yeah, so if you're Gavin, how do you adjust? Do you assume that you're not going to see Explosion again? Do you just try and lead Kyogre and I don't know, maybe Amoonguss or something to try and avoid getting crit knocked out by that U-turn?
Yeah, I think he just probably he's probably do the same thing or something really similar. He probably will bring the same 4 Pokemon. I'm not knowing how he plays this team. It's usually he'll bring a different lead, bring the same 4. He knows exactly what he has to bring versus this. On Wolf's side, I think looking at the maybe looking at Dialga a little closer. That's probably something that he can utilize here, especially with Salamence and Kyogre. He does a pretty good job of walling both of those off. I wouldn't be surprised to see that here. I don't think Wolf goes with Salamence. It's not a huge thing here, but yeah, it should be interesting to see how they adjust.
Yeah, well, we're getting started with game 2 here. I'm excited to see how they adjust as well. I think bringing the same leads could be potentially disastrous here for either player. We are going to see a Mungus Salamence lead from Gavin, and what do you know? It's that Landorus and Thundurus again from Wolf, but now looking that much more menacing, knowing that the Landorus has that explosion in its back pocket.
Yeah, I mean, in this case, it's probably not going to happen, given that he's intimidated and it's early game. There's always that option to protect, so it's a little scary here. I don't think that explosion's happening, but I think you'll see Gavin end up making a play here that probably a little conservative again. He played a conservative game 1, and he probably felt good about it. So
yeah, we are going to see that Landorus retreat, saving the explosion for later, and we are going to see the Dialga come out on the field. So an interesting adjustment there. I believe we saw it before on stream. It didn't really do much other than Dragon Pulse, I believe, maybe Trick Room. Certainly an interesting Pokemon to play here. Amoonguss goes for Rage Powder, directing any attacks away from Salamence. But, Wolf calls that, goes for the taunt straight into the Amoonguss, and Salamence is left to Hyper Voice, which isn't going to do much damage against either of these Pokemon, if anything at all.
Wolf put himself in an excellent position here, turn 1. I think this table's really turned the switch and then the taunt. He could have Thunder Wave, maybe making a really risky play, but makes a safe play, taunts the Amoonguss, prevents any Spore on the switch from happening because don't want that to happen turn 1. Salamence Hyper Voices into it. Maybe looking for some neutral damage on Landorus, but that Dialga coming in was pretty helpful for him.
Yeah, we're going to see Salamence protect this turn, probably hoping to not die to that Dragon Pulse, or, avoid getting paralyzed from the Thundurus. Dragon Pulse instead connecting with the Amoonguss. It's not going to do a lot of damage, but it does some. And then you see Grass Knot from Amoonguss connect with the Thundurus, possibly trying to anticipate a switch into Kyogre there? Or maybe even to see that Landorus come back out on the field.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what that was targeting. Maybe he was looking for the Kyogre here because he's predicting the switch into Groudon and switch back into Kyogre. Yeah. So kind of get his weather back where it's supposed to be, but it didn't end up paying off.
I know that Amoonguss usually runs Giga Drain. Does Grass Knot do more damage in this format?
Yeah, to Kyogre and Groudon it does quite a bit more damage. Base, I think, like 120 power on that, so it's a good amount of damage to those. It's a super heavy Pokemon, so the base power goes way up. So 120 versus 75 is a huge difference.
Yeah, we are going to see Gavin, bring back his Salamence, send out his Groudon, get that Sunlight up. Not that it's going to help him too much. Wolf could still have that Kyogre in the back, but it looks like Gavin is also switching out his Amoonguss and setting up the rain for him, potentially. Kind of a weird switch here. I don't think I've ever seen somebody double switch into both of their primals. Makes you wonder if that Groudon is designed, making some assumptions about what the weather may be at any point in time on the field.
Yeah, I mean, we saw the Fire Punch, so it's not necessarily relying on its Fire-type move. So, yeah, look, I guess.
That was actually a great play by Gavin. Groudon stopped the Thunder Wave. The Rain stopped the Flamethrower from Dialga, which I don't think I was expecting.
Yeah.
Wow, he called that.
Yeah, Gavin made the most ideal switch possible. That he made his moves really quick. They're both making the moves really quick here, so it's interesting to see.
Yeah, Dialga goes for Protect. Thunderbolt from the Thundurus will connect with that Kyogre, brings it down to about half health. Groudon goes for Precipice Blades, will not connect with Thunder due to its flying type attribute, and Origin Pulse will, though. And it'll do enough. It'll do enough. So Dialga protecting there certainly saved it, but not for long. Maybe it's time to bring that explosion in.
Yeah, well, it looks like he did bring it in. Yeah, in this case, it's threatening both of the Pokemon again with Earthquake, even if he doesn't want to explode here. The issue is he doesn't have his Thundurus to switch into anymore, so I got to wonder. I don't think we saw the 4th Pokemon yet.
We have not.
So
no.
If he does have maybe the Salamence in the back, he can switch in an Earthquake here. It would be really devastating for Gavin. I'm pretty sure it KOs both Pokemon with a Life Orb here. I'm not sure if the damage calc on Groudon, but I'm pretty sure that it feels like it would KO on that, even with all the defense it has. So.
Yeah, we'll have to see what that Landorus is going to do. Groudon is going to protect, possibly afraid of that explosion, possibly afraid of the Earthquake. It does turn out to be the Earthquake, and Dialga reveals that it has Telepathy, which is a very interesting ability on Dialga. It's currently an event Pokemon, not quite available everywhere yet. Kyogre will die to the Earthquake, and the Heavy Rain has lifted. Dialga tries to Dragon Pulse into Groudon's Protect, and that's it.
Wow, yeah, I forgot all about the telepathy.
I did too.
That was something that wasn't really, it wasn't passing hack checks. It was legal, but it wasn't passing hack checks, which is really strange. But finally I found I think a Dialga that, was able to do it. It was just kind of a strange occurrence because it wasn't a hacked Dialga, it was a completely legal one. So
Yeah,
they finally got past it. So
it's a very interesting event right now because it is only available in Japan and Korea. I can only hope that, they'll spread the love over here as a part of the Pokemon 20 promotion and, maybe give more American players a chance to get their hands on one.
yeah.
It's, as you can see, it's a really amazing tech, especially when you're in this situations, because you would think that the Dialga would be forced to protect or be forced to, take its own earthquake damage, but instead it just completely circumvents it.
Yeah.
Salamence going for the double edge, picks up the KO on Landorus. It doesn't look like that was a crit.
No, that did quite a bit more damage
That
than I
was not a crit, but Dialga picks up the dodge from Precipice Blades. Dragon Pulse will KO that Salamence fairly easily at this point in time. I don't know. I think that dodge was huge there.
That dodge was huge. That Dialga was not surviving that attack, and we did see the fourth Pokemon. We haven't seen the fourth Pokemon from Wolf,
the fourth Pokemon yet, but we are going to see it now, and it is Wolf's Kyogre. So, I mean, Gavin still has Amoonguss. I don't know if an Ice Beam and a Dragon Pulse will be enough to pick up the KO. It's possible that Amoonguss could put that Kyogre to sleep, and then Groudon's just free to Precipice Blades until both Kyogre and Dialga are knocked out.
Yeah, that miss probably ended up costing him the game here. In the situation that he does take out the Dialga on the last turn, he puts the Kyogre to sleep here, takes the Ice Beam. I would assume the Amoonguss takes the Ice Beam in this range unless there's a crit or a freeze. The Groudon then able to, be able to Precipice Blade safely. Could play the Protect game a little bit, but the Amoonguss with Grass Knot here should be able to take out the Kyogre in that situation. But given this, now it's a little bit different.
Yeah, we are going to see Groudon Protect, so does not want to take any damage from that Kyogre this turn. Kyogre goes for Water Spout, which, Amoonguss resists it, but at full health in Lorraine, it's still going to do not enough, it looks like. Dragon Pulse will also connect with the Amoonguss. Will it be enough to KO? I think the answer is no. And Amoonguss does spore that Kyogre, so this is really the perfect opportunity for Groudon to start spamming the Precipice Blades button and just hope that, he gets more favorable accuracy from here on out.
Yeah, and it looks like he also had to play the Protect game with Dragon Pulse. I think, in this case, do you protect the Amoonguss? Does he go for the Groudon? And what happens here? So
yeah,
straight away.
Precipice Blades right off the bat will connect with both Pokemon. Misses the KO on Dialga, does a little bit to that Kyogre. Dialga again reveals its Citrus Berry. I believe we saw that the last game it was in. Kyogre remains asleep this turn. Dialga also will remain asleep this turn. Or no, it's not asleep. Never mind. This isn't Dark Void. Dragon Pulse will connect with the Amoonguss. Hoping to pick up the KO, it does. So it is all on that Groudon with that Precipice Blade button.
Yeah, it looks like it does 3 HKO the Kyogre. That didn't do a whole lot of damage.
It didn't do a lot of damage at all. Dialga protects, trying to stall out Kyogre's sleep. Kyogre will take damage from Precipice Blades this turn. How much is the big question? Unfortunately, it is not enough. It confirms a 3-hit KO, but Kyogre also remains asleep. So it all comes down to this last turn. Yeah,
well, I don't even know if that 3 HKO's Kyogre. It looks like this might be a case where Gavin has to, hope for it. And that avoids the attack, but a double avoid.
He picks up a double avoid on that Precipice Blade. Dialga is now free to Trick Room. And as we know, Kyogre is slower than that Groudon. It has been asleep for 3 turns. It is definitely waking up next turn. And, all it really needs to do here is Scald that Groudon or possibly go for another Water Spout even though it's down. And it's probably going to pick up the KO on that Groudon.
Yeah, it looks like this one's over. Yep, Scald this. Wolf takes the game. So.
Yeah, so Wolf won 2-0 and we'll be moving on to top 4.
Yeah. A little interesting out of a series. It would have kind of interesting to see if the Precipice Blades would have hit 85% of the time.
I know.
The U-turn card, I think it would have been a close series regardless. I don't know if we could have seen different changes in momentum and whatnot based on that. But yeah, it was interesting to see Wolf end up just playing with his momentum, taking that, especially with the Trick Room there, hoping for the miss.
Yeah.
If he does miss, he seals the game 100% of the time.
Yeah, that
Kyogre
was a
survives.
really strong play by Wolf. He knew that. If that Precipice Blades did miss, that was his only chance of winning, and he got it.
Yeah.
That's Pokemon for you, I guess.
Can't do anything more about it, so.
Yeah. Still, though, Gavin had an amazing run today, and, top 8 is certainly something to be very proud of, especially given how stacked the field was today in Florida.
Yeah.
So many named players coming down here to play. It was insane.
And, these two are, honestly, people probably consider them both to be in the top, 10 players in America.
Definitely.
So it was really nice to see a marquee match here in the top 8.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, so I think that's done for top 8. We're currently waiting for the other matches to finish up, and then we will get top 4 on stream. Thanks everybody for watching. Please stay tuned.